ready to receive. I'm always walking around sort of thinking about it. And I have a notebook, scraps of paper in my wallet. Something comes to me, I write it down. I used to not write anything down on the level of, if I didn't remember it, it wasn't worth remembering. But I after a while, sort of thought that was stupid. And I might have missed something by not writing it down. So now I write down most everything I think of. If I have an idea in the middle of the night, which I do very often, I'll just get up, write it down, score it out even, and then the next day, look at it and see if I can make sense of what I did. Like for instance, right before, the reason I wasn't in here right away was I was writing something down. This is a music thing, you'd like me to show this sort of thing, right? So I had this idea and I just wrote it down like this. 7/4 time, there's the chords, the melody note. It's just a figure that I wrote down. And I have them probably all through this. Dum, da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-da. You know, that's just a rhythm that, I mean, I can read music, so I write it out and I just read it. So that I don't have to remember. Right. This tells me what my idea. When I was 13 years old, I was in a group called Sing Out. It was that Up With People thing, you know, up with people. I was 7th grade, it was something my mom got us into. Little Brucey Hornsby singing and playing his own songs in the Sing Out group. I got my first girlfriends from this in 7th and 8th grade. By about end of 8th grade, I'd kind of grown out of it, so I was done with it. But my first song was a song called You Can Be Happy. And it was a very popular, you know, cringeworthy now, but it was very popular in our little Sing Out group. I write a lot of songs lyrics first. You can usually tell the songs that are written lyrics first because the music tends to be much simpler, 3 or 4 chords, as opposed to songs that come music first are often a little more elaborate, involved musically. You have a musical idea that's probably a little more involved just because you're writing and I know a lot of chords and get to playing something, it ends up being more complicated. Whereas it's interesting, and it's actually telling too, because I think a lot of my favorite songs that I've written are the simplest ones. The ones with just 3 or 4 chords. Whether it's Rainbow's Cadillac or Way It Is, so many different songs that I've written, I think some of the best ones are the simplest ones. I'm getting ready to write my next record, and I'm going, well, what do I feel passionately about? What do I feel strongly about that I haven't really written about that much? Because this is going to be my 8th record. So it was a little easier early when the page was fairly blank. The page is damn filled in now, you know. It's a lot of songs later. So I thought, well, the thing I feel most intensely about at this point in my life is being a father and my kids. That's what I'm most passionate about, I guess, now. I got twin sons, 8 years old, 8 and a half. So I thought I'd write this record sort of from that mindset. Of course, you'd say, oh, he's writing a children's record. It's hardly a children's record. One song deals with the Kip Kinkle scenario, you know, the kid in Oregon who, you know, one of the kids who's gone and, you know, taking his gun to school and shot kids. One of the songs is about a kid who went out with his family looking for a Christmas tree in the woods and was lost in the snow and was never found again. You know, those sort of things really affect me now much more than they would have, those two situations, because since I have kids, it really is emotional for me. Then the other side of it, the lighter side, I wrote a song about my son, one of my sons who hates school, or who hated school. And so I'm trying to think about, okay, so here's the idea. So I have the idea, I want to write a song about this scenario of the kid that's not so into school. So I've got to find my way into the song. I've got to find a way that I think is interesting, I've got to find an interesting way to write about it. So the song I wrote is called Hooray for Tom, and it goes, does it really help me to learn about Frederick the Great and when Rome burned, and I wish they'd just skip over me when it's my turn. All this useless information so I can talk way above my station, and I lost when I couldn't spell congratulations. It's about a spelling bee. Well, hooray, hooray for Tom. He won the spelling bee, spelled the difficult words so right, and now he's on TV. Oh, hooray, hooray for Tom. He's up there for all to see. And I hope someday they'll say hooray for me. So that's my way into the song, you know. But you have to, and in fact, I took it later on. The song takes something from my childhood. I was in a spelling bee with the class across from me, and my cousin Eddie Hornsby was in this class, and they asked Eddie Hornsby to spell banana. So Eddie stands there, and he goes, he's really on the spot. Everyone's looking at him. He goes, B-A-N-A-N-A. He wasn't sure whether it was just A or he had another A-N to go. So my song goes, I learned more at home, okay. I learned how to scrap and learned some funny things to say, and I lost when I spelled B-A-N-A-N-A-N-A. So there's a good example of having a subject, having an idea, and trying to find a good way to write it. Well, I hear a lot of kids who are saying, well, I really want to write songs, I'm really going to. I go, well, wait a minute, nobody's stopping you. Just do it, and don't be worried if it's just sucking, you know. I mean, very few people wrote a great song first time out, I imagine. You know, so one thing I would say is to just do it and not worry about, don't have a fear of flying, fear of failure. Just start and learn from your mistakes, but also be a tough self-critic, a tough self-editor of your work. Don't follow the trends. It's very tough when you're a kid. You're interested in music because something really inspired you. You love something, and so it made you passionate about it, and it made you want to do it. So it's only natural to want to copy that thing that you loved, that made you get into this. But in the end, you have to, and it's great to copy for a while, to emulate. But after a while, you have to leave the emulating alone and get into innovating.